So we now welcome on a very special guest. He hosts Starting Nine for Barstool Sports. He hosts Section 10 for Barstool Sports, Morning Wood. I listen to all those, watch all those. Even though I'm a Tribe fan, not a Red Sox fan, he is the one, the only, Jarred Carrabis. Jarred, how pumped are you to have playoff baseball happening today, man?
I mean, I'm very, very, very excited. I was actually up until 3 o'clock in the morning last night because I usually record Morning Wood the night before because we have to have the videos in by 7 a.m. So I was usually I'll start them around like 1, finish around 2, and last night I was just like I was too amped. I was like, there's so many different things that you can talk about, and like I'm going over all the different matchups and all the different series and. Obviously, I'm the most excited about Shane Bieber versus Garrett Cole. I mean, I think if you're a baseball fan, it doesn't matter who your favorite team is. If you're not excited about that matchup, then you're just not paying attention.
Exactly. And Garrett Cole has been one of the best pitchers on the planet in the playoffs the last couple of years. And Shane Bieber, Triple Crown, otherworldly this regular season. So let's start there. As a Tribe fan, I'm a little worried about the offense going up against Garrett Cole. So what do you think they need to do to either get to him early in the game or to win tonight despite not hitting off of him?
They need to be patient. And I know it's easier said than watching both starters are dominant, Garrett Cole and Shane Bieber. But if you watch a Shane Bieber start, is my connection messed up?
Oh, no, you're good now. You were out of there for like a couple minutes, a couple seconds, but now you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what I was saying is like, you look at a Shane Bieber start and a Garrett Cole start. And what I notice most with Shane Bieber starts is that he just paints. He's all over the strike zone, but he doesn't give you anything to hit. Like he's going to hit the corners. He's going to be dotting everything on the paint. But with Garrett Cole, he makes a lot of guys look really stupid swinging at pitches that aren't strikes. Like that's his bread and butter. And he can gas you up and he can paint too. But a lot of the swings and misses that you're going to see from Garrett Cole are just like he's spiking curveballs that guys are just like swinging at because they think it's the heater or they're trying to sit on the heater and it's just not, it's off speed. So yeah, I think like that's what the Tribe has to do. You've got to wait out Garrett Cole because that's a dude that when he gets comfortable and he starts feeling himself a little bit, it's game over, especially against a lineup like the Indians where like there's guys that are in the Indians lineup that I feel like they can hit, like they can flip a switch and they can hit, like Franmil Reyes, like that dude was a monster for the first month and then he kind of fell off towards the end there. Jose Ramirez has been great all season. Like Francisco Lindor, it's like he hasn't had a fantastic season, but you turn the bright lights on and who knows what can happen with Lindor. So it's not like they're not talented enough. It's just that the offense hasn't performed to the level that you're used to seeing from these guys from individual seasons. So I would say, patience is definitely key with Garrett Cole, and you just need guys to flip that switch because the numbers that the Indians offense put up this year, it's not indicative of the talent that those individuals have.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Look at Lindor, like you a great example. Lindor, otherworldly top 5 MVP candidate year in and year out. This year he was good, but he wasn't that great. But I expect him to take that next step in the playoffs. So my next question is, who do you think the X factor in this series is? I think this series is going to go the distance because Tanaka's great in the playoffs. Garrett Cole is great in the playoffs, like I said. Carrasco, though, does pitch well against the Yankees. I'm talking a lot about the pitching, but is there a guy on either the offensive side of the ball, in the bullpen, maybe an overlooked guy who's the X factor in the series?
I have 2 X factors. Am I allowed to have 2?
Of course, of course.
All right. Here are my 2 X factors for the Cleveland Indians. X factor number 1, Tristan McKenzie. If you are an Indians fan and you're sitting there being like, we know we have the Cy Young Award winner. Do we have the MVP in the same player? All right, maybe. Okay, so Shane Bieber goes out there. His last start, 5 innings, 10 strikeouts, but 5 innings.
Mm-hmm.
You still need to bridge the gap to your 8 and 9 inning guys. So there's some innings to fill there. Who do you go to? Oh, well, we don't have a mop-up guy. We actually have a pretty damn good pitcher in Tristan McKenzie who's going to be coming out of the bullpen, piggybacking a Shane Bieber if he needs it, piggybacking a Carlos Carrasco if he needs it. So that's a weapon that the Yankees don't have. Like the Yankees, I mean, the Indians are so fortunate to have such a good rotation that they can put, I mean, Tristan McKenzie, you can make the case, would be the number 2 starter for the Yankees right now. He's that good. He's coming out of the bullpen for the Indians. So that's X factor number 1. X factor number 2, Zach Plesac. He's my X factor because, all right, let's just say, I mean, I think it's highly possible that Garrett Cole and Shane Bieber just cancel each other out. So like game 1 can kind of be a coin flip. Like all season long, Shane Bieber's on the mound. That's a win for the Indians. I think they were 11-2 when he pitched this year. So like that's you're conditioned to think, well, that's a win. Well, he hasn't gone up against Garrett Cole. So like those two can cancel each other out, and then anything can happen in the late innings. Then you have game 2, which, like you said, Carrasco pitches well against the Yankees, but Tanaka pitches well in the postseason against everybody. So let's just say you're going into game 3, 1-1. Who's your X factor? Oh, you need Zach Plesac. You need the guy that the Indians told, hey, we don't have an opportunity for you. Like, they sent him down to the alternate side, and they demote him, and they're trying to make an example out of him. And it's like, well, we don't have an opportunity for you, but we also need you to save our season, a month from now. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of like an X factor is Zach Plesac has the mental makeup to, instead of making it a negative, he's going to bottle that aggression that he has towards the organization for sending him down, keeping him down. They bring Clev back, but not Plesac. They tell him, oh, we don't have an opportunity for you, when he has like a sub-2 ERA and a whip that's under 1. Like, he's going to remember stuff like that. He's going to go out in game 3 and he's going to shove to prove everyone wrong, including his own organization.
Exactly. And I heard you and Dallas on Starting 9 say he's pitching angry.
Yes.
And the dude is angry. And I think that's a big positive for the Indians in this series. I think it's going to go the distance. Now, I'm just going to say, are there any other playoff matchups that you're typically hyped up for, like especially hyped up for? I know the Indians-Yankees is probably the big one. Shane Bieber, Garrett Cole, everybody's going to be watching that one tonight. But are there any other matchups? I know the Reds, Trevor Bauer. I'm a big Bauer guy, Cleveland fan. Yeah. It sucked to see him get traded, but are there any other matchups, maybe the Reds-Braves?
Yeah, Reds-Braves, I mean, it sucks because like when you do this full-time as a job and you get to know so many guys on different teams, and like I want to see so many people do well, like for example, Tampa, Toronto. I mean, there are a lot of guys on the Rays that, because of my hatred for the Yankees, they've kind of like started to tune into what I have to say this year. So like I'm rooting for those guys to do well because it's like, oh, like they like my stuff, I like you guys. So I'm rooting for Tampa, but it's like I also love the Blue Jays. Like we've had Kevin Biggio on, we've had Bo Bichette on, we've had Nate Pearson on, and I'm a huge Vladdy fan. So like that series for me like is tough in terms of like how do you pick one. A's White Sox, that's another one too, where it's like I would love to join forces with Dallas for one series, but I've been riding the White Sox all season long. So like I've gotta have the White Sox come out of that series. And then on the NL side of things, the Dodgers and Brewers. And I know that's indisputably, that is the most lopsided matchup that you're going to see, but I love the Brewers. I love Christian Yelich. That's my team. And I'm excited for what the Dodgers are going to be able to do in October. I still love Mookie Betts. And then also I picked the Marlins to upset the Cubs. So I am interested to see if that comes to fruition. I mean, it's not like I would bet the house on that happening. But I could see the Marlins. I could see the Marlins winning that series.
Yeah, Marlins and Blue Jays, both two very surprising teams that I think arrived ahead of schedule in the playoffs. Obviously, the expanded playoffs is this year. Do you like that moving forward? I think it's great for getting ratings up for the postseason. I know you guys always talk about growing the game, and I think it's a great way for baseball to grow the game.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I like it because my team isn't in it. I feel like if I were a Dodger fan, or not even a Dodger fan, because I think that they'll have no problem with the Brewers. If I were a Rays fan and I'm the 1 seed and I have the best record in the American League, I still have the chance to run up against a Blue Jays team that for sure can win back-to-back games against me. Like there's really the penalty isn't really that stiff if you're a Blue Jays fan to be like, well, yeah, I mean, like, you know, it sucks that we got to play Tampa, but I mean, we can win back-to-back games against Tampa. Like, that's not, I mean, you got Blake Snell in game one, and there's a lot of solid power righty, like Bo Bichette, Vladdy, Teoscar Hernandez. Like they've got righty power back. Like now you're up 1-0. Now all you got to do is win one out of the next two games and you knock off the number one seed. So yeah, I like the Russian roulette aspect of it because my team isn't in it. But if my team was the number one seed and they got knocked off by an 8 just because they lost 2 games, I would be pretty upset about that. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, like, who knows? I mean, the Rays could win 2 and the Dodgers could win 2, and no one's even talking about how that might be unfair.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you mentioned your team, the Red Sox. They recently parted ways with their manager, Rick Renteria. Who do you think they should bring in to replace him? Are you a part of the bring back Alex Cora train, or do you have some other ideas?
I'm big into bringing back Alex Cora. I would love Alex Cora to come back. I feel like it's the perfect fit. It makes the most sense. It's the guy that the players want. You know, a guy like Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, Eduardo Rodriguez. Like there's a lot of dudes on that team that took big steps forward because of Alex Cora in 2018 and 19. So, I mean, if you're going to make the hiring that best puts you in a position to contend next year, there's only one answer, and it's Alex Cora.
Definitely. I'm trying to think a couple more questions here. So the Indians Yankees, what's your official prediction for this series and why?
I got Tribe in 3, and I want to, like, I know the Yankees aren't just going to roll over. And, you know, you hear guys like Luke Voigt saying, or no, I think it was actually DJ LeMahieu who had the quote that said, we still think that we're the best team and we know that we're the most talented team. And that could either bite them in the ass or it won't. And I don't think that they're the most talented team. They're not. But they do have a lot of talent, and I don't think that after the year that they've had that they're just going to roll over and die. I mean, they did roll over and die for about like a 2-week period there, but they recovered nicely. They won 10 straight. They got into the postseason when it looked like there was a chance they might not even make it at all. So I'll give them a game, but I think, you know, when you look at the Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie piggyback aspect, Carrasco, and Zach Plesac, I mean, I don't care how potent your lineup is. You don't want to face those guys. Like you don't want Bieber, Carrasco, and Plesac with Tristan McKenzie as a roaming long man. Like that's just not what you want. So pitching wins in the postseason. And, you know, we've seen it with the Yankees the last few years in the postseason where, you know, everyone said the Achilles heel for the Yankees would be their pitching. And then their pitching was pretty solid. And it was the offense that went silent. You know, it was the offense that cost the Yankees the ALCS last year. It was the offense that cost the Yankees against the Red Sox in 18 and the Astros in 17. So, you know, if you're going to line up a rotation that the Yankees least want to face in the postseason, it's the one that they drew in the first round. So we'll see what happens.
You mentioned pitching in the postseason being so important. We even saw it last year, a team like the Nationals with Strasburg and Scherzer, they made an improbable run. Do you think there's any chance the Indians could make a run like that deep into this postseason, riding Shane Bieber, hopefully who has a Madison Bumgarner type postseason?
Yeah, no, I think that that's the one team that you can't let get hot. You know, it's because like I said earlier, you know, you look at the numbers that the offense has put up this year and it's pitiful. Like they're pitiful offensive numbers, but that's not the norm for the names on those baseball cards. Like those guys are way better than the seasons that they had. So you can't let them get hot. You let that offense get hot. I mean, that pitching staff you don't want to see the Indians in a series because of their pitching. If they start hitting on top of that, I think it's game over. I think that's the team that probably represents the American League in the World Series if they can start hitting. And they kind of started doing that towards the end of the season. Like you saw Jose Ramirez go off. You saw Santana started hitting bombs. But yeah, I think on the offensive side, the X factor would be Reyes. Like that's a dude that can kind of like put the team on his back for a series and be like, hey, you know, I have the ability to just launch homers, like 5 homers in 7 games. Like he's the guy that can do that. And then Lindor is the guy that has the flair for the dramatic and the clutch spot and the big moment that he can come through. And he's done that in the postseason, specifically against the Yankees.
Yeah.
So we'll see how what he does.
Real quick, Tito Francona has not managed the Indians all year. Do you think it hurts them in this postseason not having him there to manage them?
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, yes. He's definitely like a calming presence, and it's also the experience of managing big games and being able to navigate the big moment and not overthink things. You go back to the 2016 World Series, and Joe Madden just was outthinking himself. Like he almost outmanaged himself out of a World Series title. Like the way that he was trying to make these decisions to be like, hey, like I'm making decisions that no one else is thinking of. I'm smarter than everyone. Whereas Tito, he's going to make the right decision. And I want to say the Indians have the best record in the American League since he came over in 2013. It's something like that.
8 straight winning seasons, and I think they had the most wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's just like a nod to his consistency and what he brings to the table in terms of preparation. And he just has an unlimited amount of experience, and like that's something that you need from your manager in the postseason. But where they now lack in postseason experience, they gain in just having such a lights out rotation. So
yeah,
I'm
definitely
excited to watch him.
Oh, I'm excited too. And just one more question. I'm a college kid. I run my own podcast. Do you have any advice for me and kids who are like me who want to do something like you do for a living?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you're off to a hot start. You shoot your shot. I mean, you know, you definitely. That's what I did when I first started. It was just about like, you know, I'm not waiting around for someone to give me the opportunity to do this. It was, I'm just going to do it myself. Like I wanted to write, so I started a blog. I wanted to do a podcast, so I started a podcast. And it's like, you want to like do TV. So it's like, all right, I'll just start making YouTube videos. You want to get comfortable doing all of it. It's you definitely have to be well-rounded, and like don't be afraid to just ask people to come on, because you'd be surprised who is just like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And that's how it started for us, where when we started Section 10, we just started asking people, and they were like, yeah, sure. And next thing you know, you build up this guest list, and then you can use your guest list to get more guests. It's like, hey, would you like to come on my podcast? I've had person X, Y, and Z. And then they're like, oh, that seems pretty legit. And then they come on. So definitely, like, when you're first starting out, you can't care about like the views or the downloads or whatever. Like you're in the business of getting reps right now. Like you're in the business of getting comfortable doing it. Because the more polished that you get, the better product it is. And the better product it is, the more people are going to care about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. He is Jarred Carrabis. Listen to Starting 9, listen to Section 10, check him out. Morningwood, Barstool Sports. He is awesome. Jarred, enjoy the playoffs, enjoy your day, and stay healthy, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Best of luck to the tribe, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Cool, man.